Hi, welcome to Nina in the Kitchen, where today I am making wool bread. It's called wool bread because it ends up looking like a skein of wool. Now, to me it looks like pasta, but to me everything looks like pasta. This bread is enriched, really delicious, it's tender, and then you fill it, and the fillings, well, we'll get to that later. Here's what I'm doing. First, I'm going to make a roux. This is called the Tensung method, or the Hikido method. This is 1/4 cup of milk, and when it starts boiling, I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. It creates a roux, which you'll see becomes kind of gelatinous, and you add that to your bread, and it makes it, it gives it moisture. It cooks moisture into the bread. Here we go, we have boilage. So now I'm just putting the flour in all at once. You just stir it, and it looks like you've got it wrong, but you don't. This is absolutely normal. This is what you want to see. This is what you're going to end up with, this glop. And then as you scrape the bottom, you see there's a skin at the bottom of this. This is rather gelatinous, and this is exactly what you want to see. If you took the temp on this, you would get about 150, 149, something like that. There's no need to do that, but if you want to take your thermometers out and play around. All right, so this goes into a bowl, off to the side, off heat, and now this is just going to cool. Now I'm melting some butter. This is 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm putting in 1/4 cup of milk, and I always use whole milk when I bake. And I'm going in with 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to let this melt. As soon as the butter is melted, that comes off the heat. You're also going to want to pop out your springform pan, which I have lined with parchment paper. Flip it around. And now I have my parchment paper, which has been oiled on 2 sides. I'm going to throw this in the back. I'm going to grab my mixer, and I'll be right back. You start out with dry ingredients in your bowl and just mix them. So I'm going in with 2.25 to 2.5 cups of flour, which you're going to end up using. And I'm going to weigh that out. I'm going up to 270. Much easier to weigh, I think, than to have all those little cups around. This is 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of just granulated sugar. 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 packet of instant yeast. And what I love about that is it goes right into dry ingredients. You don't have to proof it, easy. And this is 1.5 teaspoons of salt, kosher salt, and that goes in. I'm just going to give this a stir. Dough hook on, low speed. I'm going to start by pouring this milk and butter combination in. You want this to be about 120 degrees. Push this around, make sure that all the flour gets wet. Next up, 1 large egg. You don't even have to incorporate it completely, but the next thing in is that little piece of roux that we made. And now we're going to knead this for about 5 minutes. Okay, this is how your dough is going to look. Doesn't really come together. This was at about 2.25 cups. So I'm going to start adding flour just a little bit at a time because I don't want this, I want it to be tacky but not to stick to my hands. And right now it does stick to my hand, see? I'm going to start just at a tablespoon at a time and see how much we can, or how little we can get away with. I think I'll let this run for a couple of minutes, and then I'll test it and see what it feels like. You can see how different this looks, and this just came together just after 1 tablespoon of flour. So I think I'll take it out, put it on the counter, and just see how this feels. And as you can see, I'm putting very little flour. I don't want to keep adding flour to this because the more you add, the heavier it gets. This is called a bowl scraper. These things are invaluable and they only cost a couple of dollars. I consider it an essential piece of equipment because look how clean. There's very little cleanup when you have one of these. It's amazing how much they pick up. I like having a little flour in a scoop. That way I don't have to keep putting my hand into my big container of flour. By the way, I'm using all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour for this. I've done both. And it's such a tender crumb that I don't think it really matters. This is absolutely perfect. So 1 tablespoon of flour did it. This is a beautiful dough. It's a little tacky, but nothing is sticking to my hands now. And so that is beautifully kneaded and ready for the bowl. I have bowl which I brushed with some softened butter. I'm going to put it in, then flip it, and now both sides of this dough are buttered. The lid goes on, and in about an hour, this should be almost double in bulk. This is an enriched dough. I know I've said that before in this video. An enriched dough is not going to poof up like a white bread, for example, because the egg weighs it down, the milk weighs it down, the butter weighs it down. It's a little richer tasting and a little sweet. It's a delicious bread. And also because of this roux in here, it's going to be nice and moist and tender. And so I'll see you in about an hour. We'll see how it looks now. So we're back. This is doubled in size. It smells so good when I took that lid off. And the reason for covering it is just so you don't get a crust that forms over your dough. When you push into this, it should feel very marshmallowy, and it does. So this is ready to be transformed into the next final proofing. What I'm going to do is weigh this because you really do get a better bake when you weigh something and they all bake at the same size. So I'm going to degas this, and you just kind of push that. And let me put this on here. 598. So I'll just go with 120. You want to divide this into 5 pieces. And I find it difficult to kind of gauge what that looks like. So I'm just going with weight. So 120 grams. Just shape each of these into balls and put them off to the side. And now that these have been manipulated, really the best thing to do is leave these for about 10 minutes because if you try to roll these out now to go on to the next step, they're going to fight you. I'll show you what I mean. You see, they come right back. So let's just let these rest. This is called a bench rest. You just want these to relax. I'm going to just cover these with a towel, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. So these have been rested. I can feel them starting to get soft now. And now we have to talk about the filling. There are so many fillings that you can do. It's as wide open as your imagination. I was going to make, I was going to do a lemon curd with cream cheese because I happen to have both of those things in-house. So I was going to put that in here. And I mentioned that to a viewer who wrote to me. And her name, or his name, I don't know actually, is Pepperoni. I love the names that people come up with. So Pepperoni said, you know, I'm not loving the lemon curd thing. Maybe you should do something with cinnamon. Well, I didn't do that because I think of those as cinnamon, apple, warm flavors. So what I did instead is I just happened to have some marzipan, and I also have some tart dried cherries that I soaked in water. So this is what I'm filling it with, but you can do so many things in this filling. Chocolate, you could do ricotta cheese and a little honey drizzle, or nuts and berries, or just anything you can think of. Jellies and jams would be fine, I'm sure. This is marzipan. I cut it into 5 pieces to match 5 pieces of dough, and we'll see how it goes. This is an experiment for me, just like it is for you. Here we go. I'm just going to throw a very small bit of dust down here. And now we want to take a light rolling pin and just roll this out to about 8 inches. 8 by 5 is what I found works really well, because if you go further than that, you stretch the dough too thin. Okay, so that's 8. Just a little more width on this. And what I do, I just find this easier. So you have this oval, and this is about, I would say, about 1/4 of an inch thick, between 1/4 and 1/8. I go up about 5 inches and then mark it. I'm not cutting through, I'm just putting a line here just so I can see where 5 inches is from the bottom. And then you just cut strips. This is a pizza wheel, as you can see, and it's been oiled, and the oil really helps you here. You can use a sharp knife, you can use a pizza wheel, you can even use the edge of a bench scraper if you have one that's sharp. And as you can see, I'm cutting this really thin. These strips are, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch. So now you have this fringe. It looks like one of the founding fathers, you know, the bald guy with the hair. Okay, so here we go. That's marzipan. I think I'll put some of these cherries on here as well. And then you just take this edge, pull it down. If you have something in here that's a little wet, you're going to want to close these side seams, and then you just roll it up. That's how easy this is. This just goes right into, put this over here so you can see. This just goes into your pan. You want these edges, these raw edges down, so that when it bakes it doesn't unravel. Okay, let me do one more so you can see this. It doesn't have to be a perfect oval, so you go up 5 inches, just mark it a little bit so that you can see it, and then cut. You can put chocolate in here, you can put savory foods in here. I mean, really, when you think about it, you know what I would love to try in here is those Chinese barbecue pork buns. If you've ever been to a Chinese bakery, they have these delicious barbecued pork and in a little sweet dough like this. That would be wonderful. There are so many things. So let your imagination go wild on this one. And then here this is. You see, it looks like fettuccine to me. Gently pick it up. Whoops. Make sure you're tucking everything under. That's not perfect, but I think once it rises, I think that'll be okay. So I'm covering this. This should take about, I would guess, between 30 and 40 minutes to rise. I have an egg wash ready to go. I'm turning my oven on to 350 degrees. I will clean everything up, and I'll see you when this is done. The biggest problem people have in bread making is knowing when bread can go into the oven. You don't want to overproof, because that means it will go into the oven and then it tries to blow up and it can't, and so it collapses on itself. You don't want to underproof, because that means it won't get big enough in the oven and it will kind of retard itself. So what you want to do is just gently press on your bread, and if it comes back very slowly, that means that it is perfect. And this one is doing that. This is egg wash. This is 1 egg white, and I've mixed that with 1 teaspoon of water. For this bake, if you want to use a whole egg, you can do that if that's easier for you. The reason for an egg white is to make it shiny. An egg yolk is going to make it a little darker. This bakes for about 30-35 minutes, so you can go either way, whatever's more convenient for you. I'm going to pop this into the oven, and I'll see you in 35 minutes. This came out of the oven after 28 minutes. And this is what you get. I think this bread is a showstopper. It's really so beautiful. And it's so easy to make. One tip that I will give you is that when you make this, just don't roll that dough too long or too thin, because what happens is as you roll it up to look like these rolls of wool, you're going to have your dough kind of stretch out sideways, and you won't be able to fit all 5 pieces into your pan. Ask me how I know. So just take it easy, leave it a little thick. And what I did is after 10 minutes, I took this out of the pan. I just put a little hit of spatula at the bottom, and it comes right out. It was so easy. So that is not a concern, but you want to wait a little bit just to let this set up so it's not very soft. Then I put it on an elevated rack because I think breads and cakes especially need that, that ventilation underneath as well as on top, so that you're not going to get moisture underneath from the counter. So now we're just ready to transfer it to a cake plate. And let's take a look inside. Ooh. I have cherries and some marzipan inside. Look at that, it's just beautiful. It just tears apart. It's so tender. And that's because of making the roux like we did. I did this with AP flour today, all purpose. I've done it with bread flour. And honestly, I don't see a difference. I don't think you need the bread flour. So use what you have. You can do each segment a different flavor. I have all kinds of ideas for this. And it's easy. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. Let me know if you make it. I hope to hear from you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.